So I'm going to go over our retrieval kit. We have both a single and triple loop. I'm going to go over both kits, but they are sold separately. So first we'll start with our 11 French outer sheath, coil reinforced, also has an embedded radiopaque marker on the end. It being coil reinforced is important for whenever you're sheathing down over the filter legs. It's going to help provide the stiffness you need to break off that endothelial growth. So then we also have our 9 French inner sheath, also with a radiopaque marker on the end, unlike Cook's. This is going to be good just so that you can see where both pieces of the sheath system is whenever you are trying to advance over your filter. So this is going to come preloaded in the outer sheath. Next, we have our dilator. This is an 8 French dilator, obviously dilating up to a 9 French inner sheath. We provided holes on the end for injecting contrast, and we made it a lot longer than the other 2 pieces of the system so that whenever you're trying to conduct your initial cavogram, you don't have to advance the whole system down. The dilator just goes past the filter for you and you can blast contrast through. So here we have our triple loop snare. This is going to look extremely similar to our retrieve snare. So a benefit here is that we have a 15-degree bend on the end of the snare, helps give you directionality when trying to sheath over or trying to snare over the filter. The snare goes from 18 to 30 millimeters when fully extended or just partially extended. And then on the back end here we have a Tui Borst and a torque handle. So what's going to be nice is you can flush through the side port even when the snare is inside the catheter. And then once you have locked your snare over your filter, you can use the torque handle or the Tui Borst to lock the snare in place. And that way you don't have to risk losing hold of the filter. And then we also have a single loop snare. Again, same features and benefits here. This is a gold tungsten snare. Again, going to give you visibility, 15-degree bend with a radiopaque marker, and then the same Tui Borst and torque handle here. So we also include an extra stopcock in both variations of our kits, and this is for at the end of the procedure. If you choose to leave your outer sheath in, you can keep hemostasis by locking this on. And then you can flush through here to get your final cavogram. So the inner sheath and outer sheath are going to come pre-assembled like this. So to start your procedure, you will obviously load in your dilator. Whenever you are in servicing, you'll notice that the hemostatic valve is a little tight, so you might want to flush it with water beforehand, but then it'll make it squeaky. So either use really short, small movements or flush it with water. All right, so you can put this in. Then again, you notice how you can go through past the filter with this and take your initial cavogram without having to move the inner and outer sheath. So once you're done with that, then you take out the dilator and the guide wire, and then you will load in your snare. So for this one, I'm going to use our single loop snare. Alrighty. So you'll load it in. Same thing here with it feeling a little tight. So in the snare catheter, again, using really small movements, otherwise it will kink. And then you just want to have it come a little bit out the end so you can take advantage of the 15-degree curve on the end. So after that, you will release your snare and get it around your filter. Obviously, this is not the same as it would be in procedure. And you'll want to snare over your filter. So here, what you actually want to do is you instinctively you want to pull back on the snare to try and get the filter neck and hook in there, but what you actually want to do is hold the snare still and sheath down over the snare catheter to kind of lock it into place. So once you have that, this is whenever you can use either your torque handle to move this down and lock it, or your Tui bores to lock. So that way you're not going to lose the filter. After this, you can start to sheath down. About halfway, you'll start to notice resistance on the inner sheath. So that is whenever you can unattach the outer sheath. And this movement is, you're gonna wanna make it kind of quick, so that way you have force behind it to break through that endothelial growth, and you'll just sheath over the end. Sometimes you'll notice that the feet don't get fully into the outer sheath, so what you wanna do is just move the inner sheath down over the snare, and that way the filter gets more inside the inner sheath and you can easily sheath over the rest of the filter. At this point, physicians kind of do it different ways. I'm choosing to pull out the entire system with the filter in it. And if you want to conduct a final cavogram, that's when the extra stopcock comes in. So you can just twist this on, you maintain hemostatic control, and then your hands are kind of free to load contrast and run a final cavogram to make sure that